I'm joined right now by Michael Small, partner at Foley and Lardner. Thank you so much for being here, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
If we could just start off by having you take a few moments to tell us a little bit about your firm.
Certainly. Well, Foley and Lardner's 21 offices in the United States and 3 in foreign country law firm. We're over 160 years old and serve major corporate clients, individuals, financial institutions worldwide.
You've been around the block.
That's
a long time to be around. Okay, can we talk a little bit about the ag feed transaction? I mean, what an incredible transaction.
It's been a tremendous experience so far, and the pie is now baked and waiting to be sliced. So there's still a distance to go. But it really had many of the elements that restructuring professionals hope for in any engagement.
So when you started with this transaction and you looked at it on paper and you thought, okay, we have this ahead of us and this is going to be a big challenge and this is going to be a big hurdle. Was there anything out there you didn't really anticipate as much as in reality it turned out to be, as far as dealing perhaps with the Chinese?
Sure. I think that there were several aspects that have turned out better than we initially had hoped or could have expected. When we started, we were counsel to the company. We had a client that had a fraud investigation, that had a broken relationship with its major U.S. customer, and a difficulty repatriating cash flow from China. And the bank also ran out on us. And when I say the bank ran out, I don't mean they ran away. They said we're no longer interested in continuing the relationship. The banking relationship ran out of time. Yeah. And so we were faced with the potential of trying to do a restructuring and or sale without any certain cash flow, which is death in restructuring. Cash flow is king.
And so the pie has been baked, but it hasn't been served. So where are you right now in this transaction?
Where we are right now is that initially there was an auction of the American assets of Ag Feed, which went extremely well. The professionals at Mackinac and at Young Conaway ran a fantastic auction and increased $25 million over the stalking horse floor. That provided liquidity to then sell the shares that were the downstream ownership of the Chinese assets of the hog farms and feed mills.
Since this transaction was unusual in so many ways, and investors, I'm sure worldwide, took note of how this was handled, what do you think that investors have learned from this, and how may this actually impact other transactions moving forward?
One of the very important things about it is that it's the first time that a Chinese buyer has bought Chinese assets through the Chapter 11 process in the United States, as opposed to Chinese buyers coming to the United States and buying assets here, or an American buyer through a series of structured transactions of subsidiaries buying assets ultimately in China. So that's the first lesson, is that it's the first step in creating a more mature market for workout and turnaround within China, this time using the United States as the fulcrum for the transaction.
When you look ahead to the rest of the year and going into 2015, it's kind of a soft market for these distressed companies right now as far as finding work, turning them around. There's been a lot of speculation that interest rates have to go up sooner or later. What do you see on the horizon?
What I see on the horizon is more of the same right now. I think that restructuring activity will stay at a fairly low clip currently, unless there's a major disruption in the marketplace. The disruptions create value opportunities for people who are positioned either because they have cash in hand and are ready to jump, or because the disruption affects the company and creates a need that it didn't already have. It was bumping along. People have accused lenders for a long time of extend and pretend, which I think is really unfair. I think it's closer to, if you can pay, you're okay. I mean, if you ask the private equity folks, they're seeing a lot of loan deals that they come into to provide equity where there are very, very few covenants from the lender, other than payment covenants.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Thanks very much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.